Questions around Donald Trump over the past few weeks is when will he make that switch from insult comic to something more presidential? When will he start detailing his policies, make a pivot to a more disciplined campaign? But for the most part, it seems those controversial comments have done a lot more to help the Trump campaign than hurt it.
Jeb Bush is a low-energy person. This guy, Ted Cruz, is the single biggest liar I have ever dealt with in my life.
He's a vicious, horrible person.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
He is like a little baby. Soft, weak little baby by comparison.
Hillary Clinton is a joke. If she gets it, she's like a joke.
Along the way, his rivals have described him as a carnival barker, a clown, and a con man.
Showtime is over, everybody. We are not electing an entertainer-in-chief. Showmanship is fun, but it's not the kind of leadership that will truly change America.
But our next guest believes Governor Chris Christie is dead wrong. Americans want an entertainer-in-chief. Clint is a leadership expert and a Trump supporter. Even wrote a book about Donald Trump's performance secrets. He joins us now from New York. Clint, thanks for being with us. It's good to have you here. You make the argument Donald Trump is basically FDR for the 21st century. Fireside chats replaced by late-night tweets. Convince me.
America's greatest leaders have been entertainers-in-chief. Ronald Reagan was an entertainer-in-chief, movie star, advertising pitchman, president of the Screen Actors Guild, a great entertainer and a great president. And it's essential to be a great entertainer-in-chief because if you want an audience to be engaged, it helps if you entertain them, and you need them to be engaged if you want to be a great leader. So FDR, another great president, led the United States through the Great Depression, through World War II, with the help of a great radio show called The Fireside Chats. This is when radio was the dominant form of entertainment in the world, and those Fireside Chats, he was the host and the sole performer on those programs. They're legendary entertainment.
A lot of people would say Donald Trump, he's a very, very good campaigner. He's entertaining. That doesn't necessarily mean he will be a good president.
You need to entertain in order to engage. And if people are bored, they're not going to be paying attention. No one's bored when Donald Trump is up there talking. They are fully engaged, and he is able to then put the message into their minds. Just the same way that Abraham Lincoln was a great entertainer in his time. He was a motivational speaker, kind of like the Tony Robbins of his time. But instead of entertaining soccer moms and road warriors, Lincoln was entertaining our nation's warriors on bloody battlefields and motivating them and inspiring them to lay down their lives for an idea that all men were created equal. That was entertainment and leadership.
Okay, so as far as Donald Trump is concerned, is this why you think his supporters are so willing to give him a pass? You know, a lot of the controversial stuff he says, you hear time and time again, they'll say that's Donald just being Donald. And I guess the question is, when does the entertainer end and the serious politician begin?
I say the entertainer need not ever end because America needs a leader who knows how to entertain so that he can put the message into the minds of the public.
Okay, but we have this situation now. We've got all this tit for tat, all the insults going on out there for most part of this campaign. There's been no oxygen for a lot of serious policy discussion here, especially on the Republican side. Does that matter?
How could it matter? We don't know what's going to happen a month from now, let alone what the policy decisions should be a year from now when the new president comes into office. What's the difference, what he says about what his policy could be in 9 months or 12 months when everything could be totally different? As we know, the world is changing really, really fast. What we need is a leader who's able to think on his feet, who's able to make decisions based on the information that he collects from his advisors. Mr. Trump has been leading large organizations, business organizations, very successfully for decades, and he'll be able to do the same thing as president.
We shall see. It has been nothing if not interesting. Clint, good to speak with you. Thanks so much.